Todd, this is the time of the show where we always like to put you on the spot and make you give a prediction in a very competitive field. Who takes the crown today?
I think that today we have a non-playoff driver win this race.
Okay.
And I'm taking our pole sitter, Noah Gregson.
Hey, that's the way you do it. If you're not in the playoffs, go out and win. Then everybody's talking about you. Okay, so let the playoffs begin right now. Todd, thank you, and thanks everybody who joined us. The 2017 Camping World Truck Series playoffs begin right now from New Hampshire Motor Speedway. 8 drivers will compete for their chance to advance to the round of 6. So now, let's send it to Vince Welch.
Thank you, John. Indeed, it is a beautiful day in the northeastern part of the country. A picture-perfect setting, New Hampshire Motor Speedway for the Camping World Truck Series playoff opener. History says starting up front is a key to success here. John Hunter Nemechek hopes to dispel that notion. He'll start in the middle of the field, the furthest back of all our playoff drivers. A week ago, Ben Rhodes needed a tiebreaker to squeak into the playoffs. Today, he hopes to show his presence is no fluke. Rhodes has speed, and he'll start from row 2. Christopher Bell dominated the regular season, leading almost all statistical categories. He's the #1 seed and looks to take the first step toward a championship with a victory today. You've got 8 playoff drivers and a bunch of hope to play the role of spoiler, like 18-year-old Noah Gregson. Isn't racing for the championship, but still has plenty to race for. He starts from the pole, looking for his first career win. Great to have you with us here on this beautiful Saturday afternoon at the racetrack with Michael Waltrip, Phil Parsons. I'm Vince Welch. It is the playoffs, what we've been waiting for. 8 drivers will contend for the championship. 7 races at Linden Homestead in November, and we'll crown our 2018 champion. You know, 4 of those 8 drivers have playoff experience, Phil. 4 don't, but I got to believe all are feeling the pressure today.
I think without a doubt, and I think the pressure started all the way back when we left Homestead back in November. 16 races throughout this regular season. All these guys trying to get to right here, have a chance to win this championship. Let's take a look at where the guys are right now that are in the playoffs. You see Christopher Bell has a pretty nice little cushion there, about 15 points. Right side of that graphic, you see where they're starting today. All those guys made the top 12 the final round, except John Hunter Nemechek. I was talking to Chase Briscoe. You see him back there seated 5th. He said, only one guy is going to be able to transfer his way into the second round here, but a lot of guys could have trouble and maybe knock themselves out. Let's go back to just 1 year ago. For Brad Keselowski Racing, Daniel Hemmer came in here, had some trouble. He left this race 21 points out of the transfer spot. Ended up at the end of this first round, 13 points out of the transfer spot. This race right here cost him advancing in the playoffs. The pressure is intense.
Well, the pressure on the drivers, and then you throw in this racetrack, which can be difficult, Mike. I mean, there's a lot of opportunities for things to go wrong here at New Hampshire.
Well, you're talking 2- and 3-wide racing, Vince, on a tight mile track. There's so much speed down into the corners, but when you get there, it's flat, so you're going to be slipping and sliding. And this place is rough. Let's ride along with Ryan Truex as he bounces down into turn 3. Look at this. He's all by himself here. That makes it okay when you stock them in there 2 and even 3 wide. Multiply that by the traction compound. You see the different colors of the racetrack? That compound makes the trucks handle differently. We are in for a great race on this Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, that traction compound, instead of everybody riding around the bottom, they're going to have an opportunity to get side by side through the corners here today at New Hampshire, that's for sure. Well, let's get downstairs for opening ceremonies.
Last weekend, the NASCAR community lost a true racer's racer and an endearing fan favorite with the sudden passing of Ted Christopher in a small plane crash that also took the life of the pilot. Ted made his mark across all levels of racing as a 2-time NASCAR champion, a multi-time track champion and competitor in the Rolex 24 Hours. He thrilled fans in New England and over the years and will be remembered as one of the most successful drivers in the history of New Hampshire Motor Speedway. At this time, we ask for you to join us in a moment of silence to honor Ted Christopher. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we ask that you please rise and remove your hats as the Salem High School Air Force Junior ROTC presents our nation's colors. Please remain standing as Pastor John White offers our invocation.
Father, as we begin this race on this glorious day here in New Hampshire, we give you thanks for that. But also, Lord, we want to remember those who have lost so much. in Texas, in Florida, in the Caribbean, and in Mexico. We ask, Lord, for strength and stamina for those who will be a part of the rebuilding process for months to come. That, Lord, you would just enfold in your great arms of love those who have lost everything and are devastated by it. Lord, be near them. For us here today, for the drivers, for their crews, for all of us who are here to witness this day, ask, Lord, that you would give us a wonderful time together. We ask it all in Christ's name. Amen.
Here to perform our national anthem, please welcome third-year cadet with Salem High School Air Force ROTC, Alyssa Marino.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight for the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
It began in Daytona. The season opened and we've run 16 races to get to this point. The playoffs begin in New Hampshire.
There are those who presume 8 to be a numeral of prosperity and perseverance, a number to indicate strength of will, a determination to transcend expectation, to be boundless, limitless, infinite. 8 drivers, 1 dream, infinite possibilities. 8 destinies converge upon the magic mile in New Hampshire.
Oh, trouble already. 2 drivers involved in a caution.
Initiating a conclave royale beyond the confines of the regular season. The playoffs are here. Welcome to New Hampshire.
The playoffs indeed have arrived, and it's the Magic Mile, New Hampshire Motor Speedway, the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series playoff race number 1. Along with Michael Waltrip, Phil Parsons, I'm Vince Welch. Down on pit road, it's Alan Cavana and Hermie Sadler. Hello, Hermie.
Hello, Vince. Today, 1 of 8 drivers will begin their quest to be a champion in the Camping World Truck Series. But outside of the playoffs, there are plenty of drivers with plenty to prove. One of those drivers is Todd Gilliland. He drives the 51 for Kyle Busch Motorsports. 4th start of the season. In 2 of the first 3, he's had mechanical issues. He wants to put those behind him, go to victory lane today, and spoil the playoff party. He'll try to do it from the 5th starting position. Alan?
Hermie, yes, Noah Gragson would love to be in the playoffs, but now that he's not, the pressure is off. He's so relaxed that this week he made his own rap video trying to get fans to vote for him as most popular driver. He brought that attitude to the track, and he put this number 18 Tundra on the pole. Does he have the speed to win? Yes. Does he have the skill to beat these playoff drivers? That's what we'll find out today.
Well, he's certainly starting from a great spot, as Alan mentioned, starting from the pole. The last 5 winners here at New Hampshire have started from that pole position. 13 drivers in the field making their first truck start at New Hampshire, and they're about ready to fire those engines.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, here to give the command to start engines for today's race, please welcome your Grand Marshal, Director of Admissions at the University of Northwestern Ohio, Don Loden.
On behalf of all the students, faculty, and staff at the University of Northwestern Ohio, drivers, start your engines!
This is the 20th time the trucks have raced here at New Hampshire. 15 different winners, but none in the field today. Who's going to get the victory this afternoon? Kaz Gralla, the youngest driver to win at Daytona. Congratulations to Christopher Bell.
That's a badass drive right there.
Austin Cindric is going to come around for the victory. The checkered flag for Johnny Sauter. Matt Crafton wins at Eldora. John Hunter Nemechek is going to bring it home. 8 drivers, just 1 trophy. The playoffs begin today. The trucks are rolling for their pace laps. Let's take a look at our Camping World track description, Mike.
It's a tricky mile track, I'll tell you that. They call it the magic mile. You can see the corners just banked between 2 and 7 degrees. 1,500-foot straightaways still means a lot of speed down in those tight turns.
And our Camping World race analysis.
You see this race is 175 laps, 185 miles. Our stages are 55, 55, the final one, 110 laps. These guys can go as many as 80 laps on fuel, so we may see a little strategy around the end of that second stage.
Take a look at our starting lineups. Pick out your favorite driver as they go by. And for the 4th time this season, it's an all KBM front row. Kyle Busch has got to be proud of his guys. Noah Gragson and Christopher Bell.
Cheryl's Ford, North Carolina's Todd Gillen rolling there. Ryan Truex carrying that awesome visor can. Chase Briscoe, a lot of progress yesterday for that young man.
A lot of speed out of that 88 truck of Matt Crafton, too, in practice yesterday.
All 8 of our playoff drivers starting in the top 14 today. The deepest being John Hunter Nemechek.
Patrick Emmerling making his debut here in the Truck Series.
There's Cody Coughlin, Jordan Anderson back there in row 12.
Coughlin will have to go to the rear of the field. He had an unapproved adjustment, so he'll start from the back.
Well, there's our starting lineups, and it gives us an opportunity to catch up with a couple of crew chiefs who have championship contenders on their responsibility list today. Let's begin with Alan.
Vince Casgralla, his crew chief, Jerry Baxter, they qualified for the playoff way back in Daytona. You've had all this time to think about it. What do you tell your driver now that we're in the playoff?
We got a pretty solid net Chevy, actually, and we come up here, it's his home track, and we're just intending on not making no mistakes, just execute all day long, and you know, just not take any chances. We just got to get some stage points and just be smart about the whole thing.
He's got some work to do, Hermie.
Well, Rudy Fugle comes back with a great team, great driver, another shot at a championship. But the first time we've raced with this traction compound at this racetrack, how do you expect it will change the way you attack this race?
Yeah, it's going to change a lot. We're going to have to, it's going to wear off. The top's eventually going to go away, and we're going to have to migrate to either the regular old lane or go to the bottom. So staying on top of that, him letting us know what happens, and, you know, we got a good Tundra, Sirius XM, you know, Toyota has helped us a ton, and I think we're prepared, so we got a good shot.
These guys will start second.
Let's take a look at those onboard cameras.
Yeah, we're going to ride along with Cody Coughlin. That's the Jegs.com camera. Cody won 2 big late model series championships last year. He's going to start from the 23rd spot.
Let's hop up to the 12th position where Kaz Gralla rolls. Jerry Baxter, his crew chief, told the plan to us just now. They've got to be smart today.
We're going to ride along on the Ford on board. That's Chase Briscoe. That's a Cooper Standard Ford for Brad Keselowski Racing. Chase has never seen this racetrack before, and he starts from the 9th spot.
Ryan Truex is going to roll from the 7th position in his Price Chopper Toyota. Got that visor cam for us. That's going to give us some great action shots today. It's going to be fun to see Ryan mix it up.
Well, it's going to be a magical day for one of these drivers here at the Magic Mile. Kyle Busch Motorsports drivers Noah Gragson on pole and Christopher Bell alongside on the front row. The playoffs are underway in New Hampshire. Gragson, the pole winner, started from that outside spot. There's Bell the #1 seed in the playoffs inside.
You can see why he started up there, Vince. A nice, solid run, a lot of momentum off the top side. Gained the lead coming off turn 2.
How about Todd Gilliland, another Kyle Busch machine, and that bright yellow 51 making a move early on the inside.
You see 3 different lanes there. You got guys on the bottom and on the top in the traction compound. Johnny Sauter was in the middle without any traction compound.
3 stages. The first stage, 55 laps. 55 laps for stage 2, and then the third and final stage, 65 laps as Gilliland continues marching as we ride along with Ryan Truex.
Truex looking inside of Grant Enfinger. There comes Matt Crafton. Phil, I know you think that this may be one of the best trucks in New Hampshire. Crafton had a solid practice yesterday. You can see those trucks slipping and sliding right now, though.
Stuart Friesen, the 52 truck, jumps to the inside of Matt Crafton. A lot of grip down there in the very bottom, it looks like, guys.
Understand we've got some smoke coming from the 57 truck of Mike Seneca being called to pit lane by NASCAR.
A lot flatter down there, Michael. You talked about it, just 2 degrees of banking down there, but the traction compound kind of is a great equalizer, it looks like.
And I think you're going to have to watch that, Phil. You could see Gilliland right down on that yellow line. You were able to get your left side tires off this racetrack, down onto the apron even, to pick up some grip at times. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out.
Johnny Sauter in the blue and white 21, the defending series champion, and also the winner last week in the regular season finale at Chicagoland Speedway. This was right about the time that Gilliland and company really caught fire last year en route to the championship. As you look at the 29 of Chase Briscoe, locked some spots early. Take a look at it here, turns 1 and 2 at the opening start.
You see him down on the inside. That's the 29 truck. It's got Matt Crafton, the 88 on the outside. You see a little bit of a moment there, had to get off the throttle or didn't get back in the throttle. That opened it up for Stuart Friesen on the inside.
I think that's what you're going to see all day long as we hop on board with Briscoe. You're trying to get in the gas there, and the truck just gets loose. And if you slip it off, Phil, there's nowhere to run and nowhere to hide. Look at that. As soon as he had that bobble, he was 3 wide off turn 2.
Yeah, when this was a one groove racetrack, if you got out of shape, maybe you could get up top a little bit. But now with that traction compound down there, you can go 2 or 3 wide. There's really no place to hide.
Saw him get to the inside of Justin Haley in the 24 truck. Chase right down on the bottom. This is where he lost that ground early on in that first corner of the first lap.
And we talked a little bit to Chase, and he said he didn't think he was driving this track correctly yesterday. Studied a lot of video, talked to his crew last night, conversed with Brad Keselowski, and he thinks he just wasn't driving the corner far enough. Be interesting to watch him learn throughout this 175-lap event.
Now, what are they saying about the 29, Alan?
Just too tight right now, Chase Briscoe saying over the radio. The team just trying to encourage him, saying get better through, roll the corner a lot better. If you can do that here at Loudon, you can have success, and that's what they're just trying to get him to do.
You know, it's interesting, Alan, he said that because I talked with Denny Hamlin yesterday, and he's very successful at this racetrack. Hamlin said, you charge the corner too hard, you're going to make your vehicle push. He likes to roll in the corner, get off the brakes, and turn through the center. It'll be, like I said, interesting to see how Briscoe adapts to this racetrack today. Never been here before.
Briscoe started 9th. He's down in the 15th spot. By the way, at the top of the screen, you see our leaders, Noah Gragson continuing to lead the way. The drivers highlighted in yellow, they are our 8 playoff drivers, championship contenders. Easy to tell which ones are in the playoffs racing for a championship and which ones are trying to satisfy the other agenda that they have, whatever that might be on this particular day.
Well, I think for a kid like Todd Gilliland in that 51 truck, it's all about winning. He's been highly successful in the K&N series of NASCAR, winning nearly half the races he started. It hasn't been a great start to his truck series career. A couple of mechanical failures, a crash, but this weekend, from the time they've unloaded that 51 truck, he's been one of the fastest guys in town. He needs to try to take advantage of that and show everybody out there that he's going to be somebody you have to deal with in the future.
And he's a winner on this racetrack. He won the K&N East race here earlier this year.
Looks like he's a little bit faster than Johnny Sauter right now as well. So Gilliland will have to try to figure out how to make a move around Sauter. Sauter talked to the media this week. He said, you better stay out of my way. I'm going after a championship. Todd Gilliland must have not heard those comments because here he comes. Wow, drives it hard down into the corner.
And with the stage racing, guys, there's no laying back. Johnny Sauter's not laying back here trying to save anything. We have stages here. We only have 45 laps to go to the end of this first stage, and all these points matter.
Yeah, 55 laps
in a stage go by pretty quickly on a track just over a mile in length.
Yeah, and you're right, Phil. You talked about Hemrick at the start of the race. If you have a mistake here, you can gain those stage points back and try to overcome an issue like Daniel had a year ago. Conversely, if you're Christopher Bell and you just keep piling up those points, you're going to be hard to catch.
John Hunter Nemechek, we noted he started deepest in the field as far as our playoff contenders are concerned. He's up a couple of spots, Hermie.
This team dug themselves a pretty big hole in qualifying. They started 14th, and the reason why, they meant to make a track bar adjustment before the last round of qualifying. They stuck the wrench down into the truck to make that track bar adjustment, to raise it, to free this truck up. They did not get it done. The wrench did not go into the way it was supposed to make the adjustment, so he was too tight on that final run in qualifying, so they know they got their work cut out for him. The good news for him, this is a good truck. He won at Gateway and at Iowa in this truck, but they have a lot of ground to make up to get that track position.
Yeah, really tough to do it here as well, especially when you're having to come from mid-pack. We'll keep an eye on Nemechek. That's a big story throughout the course of this day, that's for sure. The 18 of Noah Gragson started from the pole for the third time this season, and he's led them all so far through the first dozen laps. His teammate Christopher Bell right behind him in that Ford truck, the #1 seed in the playoffs.
And that truck was solid yesterday, Vince. His practice sessions were as good as anybody, maybe even a little bit better than most. And you can tell as the laps wear on, Bell's beginning to close in on his young teammate.
Bell to the bottom for the lead, pressuring Gragson. Can he make it stick down there and get the spot? Gragson holds him off for now.
I walked down in Christopher Bell's hauler after qualifying. He was mad. He said, I really wanted that pole. He wasn't mad that his teammate got it. He just wanted that pole.
Well, he's got to be pretty impressed by his teammate right now. I talked about the speed in that Ford truck yesterday, but Gregson's not going anywhere. He's holding off Christopher Bell.
Yeah, tip of the cap to Gregson's crew chief, Marcus Richmond. He's given the kid quite a bit to work with here. You're not going to miss a thing. Side-by-side action from New Hampshire.
The best thing about my position is that I'm in one to win. I want to win it all and let these guys know who they're dealing with.
Double down with two NASCAR races in Las Vegas. Two NASCAR triple header weekends. With the superstars and 200 miles per hour cars of NASCAR at America's Racing Show Place. Double your NASCAR fun with $10 tickets for kids and discounts up to 40% when NASCAR doubles down at Las Vegas Motor Speedway.
Connect to nature. Connect to excitement. There is nothing like the great outdoors. Getting together with close friends, relaxing, and enjoying each other's company. So what are you waiting for? Get on the road today with Camping World. Now is your time to make new memories. America's #1 RV dealer can get you started with 2018 travel trailers for only $114 a month during the year-end savings event. Visit your local Camping World Supercenter or shop campingworld.com today.
If we get to Homestead, we got a good shot of getting Roush back in victory lane.
I felt like we can win every race this season.
#1 for William Byron comes at Iowa.
To think you can be in the hospital one year and another racing for the championship is a dream come true.
When things are going your way, you have to make them really count.
Justin Allgaier back to victory lane.
As you've been watching, Noah Gragson continues to hold off his teammate Christopher Bell at the front of the field. 18 laps in stage 1, New Hampshire in the Camping World Truck Series playoff opener.
Pretty impressed with that 27 of Ben Rhodes. Seeing he's not lost contact with these two KBM trucks. He's about a second behind right now, but said earlier that he felt like he had more speed than where they qualified. They qualified 4th, and he's showing it. He's 3rd.
Yeah, he liked the fact that he was starting up on the outside. I talked to Ben down in the garage area, and he thought that was the preferred line. We saw Noah Gragson take that high line on that initial start and take advantage of that, as did Rhodes. Rhodes also said something that was really interesting, I thought, Phil. He said you go down into the corner, you hit the traction compound, and when you come out of the traction compound, if you get loose, You slide up into it, it's tightens you right back up. Sends you right back in the right direction. I told him I could have used some of that during my career.
Rhodes got into the playoffs on a tiebreaker, just squeaking past Ryan Truex last week at Chicagoland. But remember, Rhodes almost won the race at Kansas. They had an engine issue. Something went through the radiator. He had that race won, or that would have secured his spot in the playoffs. So Rhodes is capable, no question about it, even though he was the last one to get in on that tiebreaker last week. Check in back downstairs with Alan.
Austin Cindric is up 2 spots early in this race. He's feeling pretty good. They say anytime a driver gains on him going into a corner, the 19 gets it all back coming off the corner. So it's good to have that drive off as they get on the straightaway. Good run early on for the 19. Hermie?
Alan, the 21 of Johnny Sauter is too tight. He's trying to help himself from inside the truck. He's running a little bit different line. He's moved up the racetrack a little bit, and he's backed up the corner just a little bit to try to get the truck rotated and pick up the throttle earlier. So he is facing some challenges right now from Matt Crafton. So the 21 will be looking, he'll be looking to free that truck up when he comes down pit road.
And Crafton, the veteran, he can look at that 21 of Sauter and know that he has a truck that's not handling to the driver's liking, and he's going to take advantage of it.
He certainly can. He didn't qualify near as well as they thought they were going to. He qualified 10th, and Junior Joyner told me that Crafton guaranteed him that he would be up in the top 5 at the end of this first stage, and he's knocking on the door right now.
And I like how versatile that 88 truck looks. He runs up into that traction compound on the high side, but he's able to duck right to the left out of it and make some good moves. This 88 truck looks solid early.
3 championships between these two. The real veterans in this series, the guys that leaders in the garage from that standpoint. A lot of the young guys go to these drivers, Johnny Sauter and Matt Crafton. Crafton, 41 years old. Sauter is 39. Two-time champion for Matt Crafton, won back-to-back in 13 and 14. Sauter was the champion last year.
Obviously, 39 and 41, their average age 40. The other 6 playoff contenders, average age 20.
They call them veterans, experience,
exactly.
not old. We're not going to call them old.
Had a friend tell me the other day, a lot of those truckers look like teenagers. I said, they are. We got veterans, too, out there, and that's 2 of the best ever to race in the Truck Series right there. Battle for the lead.
Christopher Bell trying to get inside of Noah Gragson. Bell by a nose at the line gives him the lead on that particular lap, and that's the first lap someone other than Gragson has led here today.
Well, you can really see how much flatter that bottom lane is from that angle than the middle and the top lanes.
How much patience do you have if you're Christopher Bell racing side by side with your teammate, understanding differing agendas here, a championship to be won? But Noah Gragson didn't want to give up that lead.
Christopher Bell finished second in this race last year to his teammate William Byron. Byron just dominated the race, led all but 14 laps. And Bell is now driving for the team in which Byron drove for last year and driving the actual truck that Byron drove to victory last year. But right now, still unable to get past Noah Gragson. 3 wide, just kind of split in the middle there of the 1 of Jordan Anderson, the 45 of TJ Bell.
Split the goalpost there for Christopher Bell.
I like the way that Gragson moved through that traffic, right? He was getting a big challenge for the lead from Christopher Bell. He was able to drive away from him using that lap traffic.
Crafton still has not been able to get around Sauter, and now Todd Gilliland is heating up the tailgate of Crafton.
Yeah, they'd opened up a little bit of a gap over that 51 truck of Todd Gilliland. Now he's chasing them back down. I believe that the 21 is holding up the 80 just a little bit. But again, this racetrack, even though it's widened out with the multiple grooves and the traction compound, it's still pretty difficult to pass a truck that's not that much slower than you.
About halfway through this first stage. Looking at Johnny Sauter running 5th, Matt Crafton right behind him in that neon yellow in 6th, and Todd Gilliland in 7th.
They're getting ready to be joined by the truck of Ryan Truex, Grant Enfinger. All those guys are catching that group because I think, like you said, Phil, Sauter's holding them up a bit. Look at Truex. He's climbed up on the back of Gilliland.
I love this view from this visor cam right here.
Ryan Truex. We talked about Rhodes getting in the playoffs on the tiebreaker. This is the driver that was also in that tiebreaker hunt with Ben Rhodes. Rhodes got in the playoffs. Truex did not.
Such a solid season, though, for Ryan Truex.
Watch this truck go down in turn 3. How much movement's in his head? How do you keep your vision straight on that?
Yeah, I mean, Truex comes into this race, one of the hottest drivers. I mean, he's top 5 for the last 5 races. Gregson continues to lead the way with Christopher Bell chasing.
Bell's got a fast truck. It's just a matter of trying to figure out how to finesse his way around his teammate.
Maybe not unlike the situation we were seeing with Johnny Sauter and Matt Crafton, right? Crafton's faster than Sauter, unable to get around. Bell seems to be faster than Gregson, but unable to get around.
Again, being a little bit faster is one thing, but being enough faster just to pull out there, grab a different lane and get by him, that's another story.
And that can get frustrating, too, after a while. You know, you've tried to get in there and ease your way by. Eventually, you might have to give a friendly shove.
Bell going to give it another shot now as they go into turn 3. Bell on the bottom, Gregson up top.
Drives it hard down in the corner, but had to wait just a little bit. That allowed that momentum from the high side to get back in front of him.
Impressed with the job that Gregson's done, holding off a more experienced Christopher Bell. Really, Bell, this was a situation Bell was in last year, right? The rookie driver for Kyle Busch Motorsports. That's the role that Gregson has this year. It only makes you wonder what we might see from Noah Gregson next year if he happens to stay with this group. We've certainly seen Christopher Bell flourish.
Been so solid with a bunch of top 10s, top 5s. Had that great runner-up finish at Canada just a couple races ago.
Problem with the 8, Hermie?
Yeah, unscheduled pit stop on the 8. Right side tire, they picked up a vibration. They decided to ride with it a couple laps, but they decided eventually to give up the ghost, come down pit road, put 2 right side tires on, so he will go a lap down.
Green flag stop unscheduled. Nemechek was running 10th at the time. We talked about, you mentioned Daniel Hemrick in the Open, some of the issues that he had last year that cost him in the first round of the playoffs. It's an instance like that with John Hunter Nemechek that can really hurt your chances. Noah Gregson continues to lead the way, but not by much. Christopher Bell is chasing.
Yeah, they changed right side.
Back at New Hampshire Motor Speedway, the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series. This is the playoff opener for the trucks, the first of 7 races that's going to take us to the championship. And right now, Noah Gregson continues to lead the way, but Christopher Bell, his teammate there in that 4 truck, is right there with him. Bell actually nosed ahead at the line 1 lap, but otherwise it's been Gregson all the rest of the laps here as we are on lap 40.
Bill, would you rather be the chaser or the chasee here? We know Gregson needs that first victory. He's desperate after that. Bell's chasing for a championship. Who's got more pressure on him right here with Gregson out front and Bell right behind?
I think Bell would like that playoff point that goes to the winner of the stage, plus the 10 stage points as well. Noah Gregson right now, obviously, I think winning is more important to him than stage points because he's not in the playoffs, but I think this is a great battle right here. And I love the fact that even though they're teammates, Noah Gregson is not just going to lay over and let Christopher Bell go by, because when the boss man wins this series, he doesn't lay over for anybody. He'll just as soon beat Christopher or Noah as any of the other guys.
Well, Gregson definitely had his eyes on a playoff spot this year, too. He and crew chief Marcus Richmond believed they were playoff caliber. Gregson liked nothing better than to come out here and show it, win race number 1 of the playoffs, be the spoiler. And he's certainly off to a great start with that pole position that he earned in qualifying earlier today, and now he's led more laps in this race than he's led in any other. But Bell drives it in deep for the lead. Can he slide up in front of Gregson? He does.
Oh, he pounced on it right there, didn't he?
Looked like Noah maybe overshot the traction compound on the outside. Got a little bit higher than he wanted to, and Bell was in perfect position to take advantage of it.
Bell has led more laps than any driver in this series this year, and once he gets out front, he has shown through our couple of practices yesterday that this is a truck that is as fast and as consistent as any in the field.
And it was last year too, so that's an amazing job that Rudy and his guys do with this truck and this team. And Christopher Bell has just stepped right in this truck and continued the success that they had last year with William Byron.
You can see he's driving away too, the fastest truck by about 1/10 of a second to the last lap.
Here's that pass for the lead, the right-hand side of the screen. Watch Bell just pounce at that opening.
Let's see if maybe that high entry, you could see Noah got in just a little bit higher than we've seen so far and just slid through the traction compound, opened up the door for Christopher Bell.
Looks like he got the right sides, Michael, just outside that traction compound, had to wait to get back in the throttle. In the meantime, Christopher was on the throttle and going.
Well, we talked about how rough and bumpy it is down into turn 3. You get a little bit high, hit those bumps, you just simply can't cut to the left. We saw Jimmy Johnson in the Monster Energy car have the same type of issue.
So you think it's more of the bumps there as compared to the difference? You were on the track yesterday. Did you notice much difference from the traction compound to the parts of the track that didn't have it?
Well, I was riding in the pace car with Denny Hamlin, and I had my eyes closed most of the time because he was trying to roll the right front tire off that Camry we were in. But I talked to several of the drivers, and you can definitely feel the difference when you leave the darker part of the track into the grayer area in the middle. There's just not quite as much grip, so these guys can feel that. But I think that was just a case there where the young rookie got in a little bit high and hot.
And the bumps, I think, will induce you to maybe miss your line a little bit more down at that end of the racetrack than the other end down at 1 and 2.
Well, that's a bad sign right there. The 8 of John Hunter Nemechek going to the garage. He's one of our playoff drivers, Hermie. What's happening?
Picked up a vibration fence, came down pit road, put 2 right side tires on it, went back on the racetrack. It did not fix the problem, so they're going to have to go back to the garage, look at the drive shaft, potentially transmission or rear gear. Something in the drivetrain is the issue. Tough break for John Hunter Nemechek.
Wow, that is a major development. Nemechek into this race in the number 3 seed position, and now he's going to the garage, and that is a big blow for the opening race of the playoffs.
As he runs right now, Vince, he's outside the cut line. So even though he had that solid season, 2 victories, he has an issue here, just like you alluded to earlier, Phil. An issue here can end your chances for a championship.
There's Todd Gilliland in that 51 truck running 8th. Ryan Truex just ahead in 7th as they battle for position.
I like what I'm seeing out of this 16 truck for Truex. He's been able to move right through the field, making some good passes. He's maybe made more passes than anyone else on the racetrack. Talked to his crew down in the garage area, and they were like, we don't know if we got a very good truck or not. It didn't seem to go as well yesterday as we hoped, but he's got a couple of K&N East wins here at this racetrack. Obviously, he likes it. He's taking advantage of that.
We've heard them say that before, and that's because Scott Zipadelli and his guys get together to make a bunch of changes, and more often than not, they work.
It's Truex part of the country up here too, right?
Absolutely. Raced against his dad, Mark Truex Sr. up here in the old Busch Series.
His brother turned out to be pretty good too.
He's not bad, yeah. He's not bad.
There's Ben Rhodes in that 27 truck trying to get second from Gregson. Gregson led 40 laps here to begin this race, but right now Rhodes pressuring him for second after Christopher Bell took the lead.
Rhodes has got a good truck. He's been able to close right up on Gregson. Looks like he's got a faster truck right now. We saw how long it took Christopher Bell to work his way around Gregson. See if Rhodes has sooner success.
5 laps remaining in this opening stage of our first playoff race.
Rhodes would like to get that point. There's the left sides down below the yellow line, Michael, you were talking about. Pretty popular around here to drive your left sides, maybe even 4 tires in the past, down below that yellow line to try to find some grip.
Rhodes trying to pressure Gregson into making a mistake, but the 18-year-old Gregson rock solid so far.
It's so fun to watch the scoring monitor events here because if you hit that traction compound just right, Matt Crafton back in the 6th position was the fastest guy on the track last time by. He didn't have any traffic to deal with. He ran a good lap, a lap better than anyone else. So that tells you how competitive things are.
In this lap, our 4th place runner, Austin Cindric, ran the fastest lap of anybody. What a great battle here off the corner.
Side by side, Rhodes trying to get second from Noah Gregson in the final laps of stage 1.
Oh, he drives it hard into the corner. Will it stick down there?
Pushes up and gets the spot.
That's textbook right there. That's exactly how you make a move here at Loudon. Get in hard in the corner, slide up just enough to catch that upper groove of the traction compound, and jet off the turn.
I think we should call that a slide job.
I think it's pretty much what it was.
Key position for Rhodes to gain that spot. It'll mean another point for him at the end of stage 1. The pits are closed with 2 to go. Here in this opening stage.
Kaz currently 11th, 1 spot out of a stage point. Don't believe he can close in and catch the 10th place runner, Stuart Friesen.
Good run for Stuart Friesen, though, early on running in the top 10. We talked about it during qualifying and practice. New relationship with GMS. That truck has actually raced out of GMS now. New situation for them. So look for good things from Stuart Friesen for the rest of the year.
Yeah, we've seen some good speed from him. Immediate impact this weekend as Bell is now on the final lap here in stage 1.
That's Justin Haley. That 24 truck desperately needs to stay in front of that 4 of Christopher Bell to stay on the lead lap.
Heading into turn 3 and through 3, the bumps that the drivers have to maneuver over and around. It's like Haley is going to stay in front of Bell. Christopher Bell wins stage 1 in the playoff opener. The 6th stage win for Bell this season.
Phil, you said he was mad he didn't get the pole. He drove like it, didn't he?
He did. Drove with a little bit of anger. I like it.
Great way to start the playoff opener for the #1 seed, Bell, on a beautiful afternoon in Loudon, New Hampshire.
Back here at Loudon, it will be 4 tires and a track bar adjustment for Austin Cindric. He wants to be looser going into the corner so he can drive in deeper. A good run going for the 19 early on in this playoff. Hermie?
The 27 of Ben Rose, his truck was 2 free entry and exit. He turned the right front fan off to allow the right front tire to build pressure to help that situation. 4 tires, fuel, and air pressure. The 4 of Christopher Bell, he was too loose to start the run, too tight to end the run. They made a small track bar adjustment, 4 tires and fuel for Christopher Bell with the 51 and 88. Beat him off pit road as well as the 33.
Well, those guys getting some work done on that side of the wall. And how about the strategy moves from a couple of these teams?
We knew, Vince, that there were going to be strategy calls, whether it be pitting around or before these stage breaks or during them, and we saw that just now.
Yeah, the 51, Todd Gilliland, the 88, Matt Crafton. 2 of those electing to take 2 tires. Let's see if we can connect with our stage 1 winner, Christopher Bell.
Hey, Christopher Bell, Phil Parsons and the guys up in the Fox booth. You got a copy?
I got you.
Well, you told me after qualifying that you were mad you didn't get that pole, and you sure looked like you drove like it. That truck looks pretty darn good.
Yeah, it's really, really good. I'm able to turn down the hill and leave on the bottom pretty good. So it's really, really, really hard to pass. Dirty air gets pretty, it's just tough to break that bubble and get up there and pass somebody. But, you know, our truck was able to do it in the first run. We'll see if we can't get up here and do it again in the second stage.
All right, buddy. Great job. Keep it going.
Thanks.
Here's how the stage 1 points shake out. And, of course, Bell getting all 10 of them. Stage 2 racing when we come back to New Hampshire. The NHRA countdown to the championship continues with the Dodge Nationals from Reading. All the superstars from Top Fuel, Funny Car, Pro Stock vie for the NHRA crown tomorrow, 2 Eastern on FS1. I love this time of year. Playoffs. All the importance of all of these events. Well, some important developments regarding the 8 of John Hunter Nemechek, Alan.
Yeah, Vince, all hands on deck here on the A truck, including Joe Nemechek, who's under there right now, under the truck, working on it. They were trying to diagnose. They didn't know if it was 4th gear or rear gear. I just saw them bring a new rear gear from the truck. I guess they're going to try to put a new one in and get John Hunter out there. Every single point matters in this playoff. Not the way they wanted to start, but they're working hard to get him back out there.
John Hunter came into this race as the #3 seed in the playoffs. Now, the 51 of Todd Gilliland, they came in, pitted from 8th, took 2 tires, would have restarted at the front of the field, would have restarted first. They got a penalty for running over equipment in their pit box, and he's going to have to start back deeper in the lineup.
Doggone.
Stage 2 racing at New Hampshire. How about that? Matt Crafton and that neon yellow on the outside, and Ryan Truer, check that, Kaz Growlin, the 33 inside.
They're going to make it 3 wide for a moment. Christopher Bell took a look to the bottom. Thought better of it.
Growlin's holding tough down there on that bottom. The truck has a tendency to get loose down there, especially as it bounces into 3. Needs to be careful.
Nice corner from Gralla. Hanging on the inside. Crafton trying to nose himself in front and finally gets the position.
They're lining up on the top side. See Christopher Bell trying to fight his way back underneath Noah Gregson. They get Truex making it 3 wide for a moment underneath the 27.
Bell now challenging Gralla for second, and that's Bell's teammate right behind him. Great view of it all from Ryan Truex.
Lost a front.
Oh, Gregson going around. Contact.
He saved it.
Straight to us. Front damage here, guys. Front damage, left front.
Almost saved it and then caught it. Not sure which one of the trucks came by and caught the left front of Gregson there as he was just about ready to get it back under control. I think Johnny Sauter is the truck that actually made contact with Gregson, so I have to keep an eye on Sauter, another one of our playoff drivers, whether there's any damage to that machine.
Couldn't tell initially if there was any contact between the 27. Looks like maybe just a touch from the 27, or no?
I don't think so. I think Gregson just got into Gralla as he slid up the hill. He bounced into Gralla, had the wheels cut hard to the left, got him sideways. Johnny Sauter was just nowhere to go. Collected the left front. You can see him sliding up, and then bam, right into the side of the 33. And
I think the 27 did get him a little bit of a bump there after he had slowed his momentum so much.
I think it was just an issue of right there. He just couldn't get that truck turned. Bounced off Gralla, bounced into Johnny Sauter.
If that damage to Johnny Sauter's truck is between the tires, then I don't think it's going to make a whole lot of difference.
It looks like that is where Gregson made contact with Sauter. We'll see if we can get a better view of it from our up-top cameras. But there's Gregson with the issue on the left front.
He's been able to stay on the lead lap. Looks like that splitter's pushed down a little bit, doesn't it, Michael?
Yeah, I think that will cause him issues when he gets up to speed. See a
big
hole there in the front end as well.
Tough break for Noah Gregson, who earned pole position today in qualifying, led 40 laps early on, the most laps he's ever led in a race, but some significant damage to that left front now.
I don't see how Johnny Sauter can't have significant.
The same thing, Michael. Let's see if we can take a look at it. Look, he's probably going to come to pit road here to give Joe Shear and the guys a chance to look at it.
It's right there at the 21, but on the other side of the truck.
He's going to stay on he's staying on the racetrack, it looks like.
There's a better look at it.
You see, there's a lot of damage there, but if it didn't affect that right front tire, and that fender is not going to be an issue where it's rubbing, I think he's going to be okay.
Might be a stroke of luck there, because I don't see any issues with the right front or the right rear. And the sensitive area on that truck, I talked about speeds upwards of 160 on the straightaways. Aerodynamics are important.
Tires look clear, but you don't know what it's going to do when it rolls over.
That back right corner being intact is probably the most important part of the right side.
Chase Briscoe, another one of our championship contenders, coming to pit road, getting some service.
He's struggling.
Yeah, giving Mike Hillman Jr. an opportunity to make another adjustment on that truck. He was back towards the end of the lead lap trucks.
And sometimes that's what you need, Phil. Get off sequence with these guys. Make some adjustments. Try to make something happen. They were struggling early.
Under caution for the first time today because of an incident on track.
They'll probably drop. Do you think they dropped that truck on that jack stand possibly?
I think they already have to try to get that splitter up off the ground here. The pace car is now coming off of turn 4. These guys want to desperately get their work done, stay on the lead lap. If they have to come back in, they'll do it more.
Well, what about that damage on the 21 of Sauter, Hermie?
Joe Shear, you can see him looking at the monitors up on his pit box. He's been down a couple times as well. They think they're going to be okay. Of course, they will not know until the truck gets back to speed and rolls over, but obviously one to go. No intention of pitting. They were more concerned about where they were lined up on the restart. They were initially behind the 27 and got moved in front of the 27, so that's what they were contesting prior to this restart.
And one thing we looked at, Michael, yesterday in practice, I think these trucks will have more right front travel here than about anywhere we go. There's another look at that. You see the contact right there between Gregson and the 21 of Sauter. But these right sides really do travel when they get down on the brakes into the corner.
And the reason why they were contesting that spot so much, Johnny Sauter wanted up on that outside. He didn't want to be trapped down on the bottom like Ben Rhodes is. He was given the nod. He gets to start on the outside. It'll be interesting to see if Sauter can follow Crafton and be running in second place when he comes off turn 2.
Well, a lot to keep our eye on here as we get ready to restart. As Mike said, that's Crafton right there in that second row on the outside behind Matt Crafton. So Crafton in that neon yellow 88, Christopher Bell in the 4, back green in New Hampshire.
Wow, what a power move by Bell down on the bottom, but he can't make it work. Junior Joyner elected to get those 2 tires, grab that track position. Crafton's making it work.
Kaz Gralla diving inside of Sauter for 3rd.
Well, that was a great corner for Kaz right there. Wow.
Maybe he learned something there. You know, there's talk that maybe some of that traction compound will give way up top. Maybe Kaz found some grip way down low.
Sauter tried to come back on the outside. But Gralla going to be able to hold off Johnny. A couple of guys out of the same GMS stable. And now Ryan Truex trying to take advantage of Sauter. And there's 98 Grant Infinger, 27 Ben Rhodes.
Big sparks out from underneath the 21, Vince, and he's falling back. I think there's issues on that truck.
Let's watch. They were talking about how it would handle when it rolled over. Let's watch him as he goes into that corner. Can you see anything?
Yeah, sparks.
Definitely some sparks. You can see him right there, just a wisp of them, which means that truck's dragging the racetrack.
Which means the tires aren't sticking as well as they need to, because the chassis or part of the body is down on the ground. So Joe Shear Jr. crew chief will have to figure out some adjustments for that 21 truck, try to help them out.
Well, you don't want to pit under green, that's for sure. You'll take losing the spots rather than pit under green and go a lap down.
Yeah, he has to stay on the racetrack if he can and ride that thing out at least till the caution or to the end of the stage. Still have 39 laps to go till the end of this stage.
See the running order at the top of the screen, and of course our playoff drivers highlighted in yellow. Matt Crafton continuing to lead the way, and there is a caution for debris, and that is right on time for Johnny Sauter.
Yeah, without a doubt, Johnny. I think Johnny has to come to pit road and let Joe Shear take a look at that truck.
There's the debris as they approach turn 1. Part of a patch job by somebody, I would guess.
Wow.
What is that?
Tell if that came off the 27 or the 24.
Is that part of the exhaust system?
Couldn't tell. Let's see.
Big damage if you run over that.
Probably something from the
where it comes.
You would guess it came from Johnny Sauter's truck.
That's what I was going to say, and there it goes.
It is. That's part of the. That's most of the tailpipes.
It did come from the 21, but we saw it. It came out from under the 27, but that's after it had come off the 21.
We found out what was dragging anyway, didn't we?
Johnny Sauter, expect him to come to pit road, get a little work done on that 21. Getting ready to go back racing here at New Hampshire with Matt Crafton on the outside, Christopher Bell on the inside.
Johnny Sauter back in the 6th position, 3rd truck on the outside. That tailpipe falling off, maybe a clearance issue he was having. Joe Shear, crew chief, elected to leave him on the track. I think they just couldn't afford to give up that track position, Phil. Oh, look at that move by Bell. He gets around Crafton.
Bell back to the lead, but Crafton not giving it up.
Remember, 4 fresh tires for Christopher Bell, only 2 for Matt Crafton. Looks like the 4 tires going to win out here. How about Grant Infinger on the inside going for 2nd?
The 33 of Kaz Gralla right there as well, as is Ryan Truex, who dives down to make it 3 wide. Look at Truex.
A strong move by Ryan Truex.
So Sauter, who brings out that, brought out that yellow when the exhaust fell off the truck. They elected not to come to pit road, didn't want to give up the track position. We'll see if that issue fixed itself or at least helped out a little bit as Truex is running strong in that 3rd spot, Alan.
Yeah, it's just amazing what a little track position that can do. They've been happy with the truck since the start. It hasn't been that good to go off with the low air pressures, but once it gets the air pressures in there, they've been good. They've just been stuck in traffic. Now that he's up close to the front, you can see what he's doing with the 16.
I just like what I'm seeing out of that truck. Early in the race, Alan, he was able to pass, moved his way up from his 14th starting position into 7th, and now he's got that track position. He could be a real player in this baby.
Watch this move he makes. Diving down, make it 3 wide, and go for the pass. Gets them both.
That is bold right there. There's not much banking when you enter the corner like you're supposed to. You go in that low and complete the pass. That was impressive.
Got Infinger and Gralla both with that move. There's Johnny Sauter in that 21. Still running back there in the 6th spot. Stuart Friesen in the 52 coming to take a look on the inside.
52 of Friesen continues to impress, running well up here in the top 10.
Good look back at Sauter from Kaz Gralla's Chevrolet.
And you can hear Gralla really working that throttle, trying to get it up off the turn. So tricky here at New Hampshire.
Austin Cindric, another one of our playoff drivers, trying to get inside of Todd Gilliland. That's back there for the 10th spot.
Cody Coughlin, a good run early. Actually got the free pass, put him back up on the lead lap, now runs in the top 10 and 10th.
Austin Hill in the 0-2, right behind Cindric.
Solid run for Austin Hill. Austin's another one of those drivers with K&N experience here.
Uh-oh, problem for the 51 of Gilliland. See a tire rub there on the left front after some contact. Here's what caused that big dent in the left front. It's the 19 of Cindric back there getting into the 51.
Well, the 19 was inside the 13, so there was obviously enough room on the outside for another truck, and it looks like maybe Todd squeezed him just a little bit from the outside.
Looks like maybe most of that smoke, Phil, has gone away. Maybe that tire pushed the fender out enough to where we won't have an issue.
Remember that 51 of Gilliland back there in that 10th spot after that pit penalty. I mean, he had come out of the pits after that initial stop. After taking 2 tires, he would have started in the front with the lead, but instead that penalty put him back in the pack, and that's why that 51 of Gilliland is mired back there in the traffic.
Austin Cindric, the 19, battling with Austin Hill for the 12th position. That's Chase Briscoe, Austin Cindric's teammate, right behind them in 14th.
That's the first progress we've seen Briscoe make all day. He's able to run up on his teammate.
Well, it's been a real challenge for Chase Briscoe as we ride along with the driver of the 29 this weekend.
Certainly a humbling sport. Everywhere we go, he catches on. He's fast right off the bat, but not here at New Hampshire. Whether it's the truck setup or the way he's driving this track, he just doesn't have the speed we usually see out of him.
Johnny Sauter holding on to 6th after that right side damage. Hermie?
And Vince, this team is pleasantly surprised as to how Johnny is currently holding on. We saw the exhaust pipes come off the right side of the 21 Cincinnati, and the truck is looser. And they're also concerned about the driver inside of that truck, Johnny Sauter, if not having the exhaust pipes on the right side, how it may affect the conditions inside of the truck. They know it's very loud, concerned about fumes and maybe heat. So we keep an eye on the 21 of Johnny Sauter, but getting a little bit of a battle from the 52. Also want to update everyone. We saw John Hunter Nemechek earlier today go to the garage with a drivetrain problem. They settled on a rear gear housing. They have changed the rear gear in the 8 and got him back on the track trying to salvage any possible points they can.
Yeah, Nemechek 36 laps down after having to go to the garage, and he came in as the number 3 seed in the playoffs. A big development in the playoff structure.
Yeah, he's going to finish 23rd unless we have any more attrition in this race. He's 30 points behind the next guy in front of him.
Continuing stage 2 from New Hampshire. Christopher Bell spent most of stage 1 chasing his teammate Noah Gragson. Finally got past Gragson and went on to win stage 1. Since then, Gregson's had some problems. Bell has not. He's cruising at the front of the field. But, man, there are some great battles back in the pack, including this one. Todd Gilliland making the move on Cody Coughlin for 10th.
These guys have been battling for about 20 laps now, it seems like. It's about the best run that Gilliland's had in a while. gets dead even with him as they get down to turn 1 and drives it hard down in there. Pinned Cody Coughlin behind a lap truck.
Wendell Chavis is running in the 20th position, and Wendell held his line, but unfortunately it wasn't the line that Coughlin needed him to hold.
Yellowland in the 51, Cody Coughlin in the 13, and that 0-2 as Austin Hill got a nice run going today in 12th.
Been impressive, hasn't he, Vince? Just right there around the top 10 all day long, battling hard.
Yeah, 3 of his last 4 starts, all top 15 finishes. This team runs a limited schedule. They kind of share the number with Tyler Young. We've had some other drivers in that 0-2. Timothy Peters is going to be in that 0-2 truck next week in Las Vegas.
How about Justin Haley trying to pressure Johnny Sauter for 8th? Sauter's truck seemed like maybe the handle's gone away a little bit since he's had that contact with Gregson.
Yeah, I think he's struggling now. And Haley, what a recovery he's made, right, Phil? About a lap down as we ended stage 1, and now he's battled himself into a top 10 position, trying to take 8th away from Johnny Sauter.
You know, there's obviously the issue of those tailpipes and how it may affect the motor and the fumes and things like that, but those tailpipes underneath that truck also have something to do with aerodynamics as well. So that truck may have lost some downforce when he lost the tailpipes.
Haley gets the spot from Sauter. Well, the truck may not be handling as well, and nor would you expect it to with that kind of damage, but Sauter isn't driving it any softer, that's for sure. I mean, he is digging.
Yeah, he's getting everything he can get out of that truck right now.
Let's take a listen at how the spotters may be helping the drivers worry less today with spotter coverage brought to you by Liberty Mutual Insurance and the 29 of Chase Briscoe.
73. There you go. Way to maintain there. And we'll creep it on them. Good work. We're in a 56 before that. Still nobody coming up back, but a 50. Good job. Right in this track, too. Good work.
Good look at the spotters.
Yeah, it was TJ Majors, spotter for Dale Earnhardt, spotting for Chase Briscoe here.
Alan?
Yeah, both trucks of Brad Keselowski Racing struggling a bit. First the 29, remember they made a second unscheduled pit stop. They made a big adjustment to the shock down there for the right front that said it just wasn't getting into the racetrack. They'd rather make the change now than run with what they had. His teammate, Austin Cindric in the 19, right in front of him there. Remember, he was having a great run, came into the pits 4th, lost some track position to some trucks that had 2 tires, and also lost some positions on pit road. He says they are just not getting off the corner like they were earlier in the race, and he's struggling to make up those positions.
A little surprised these guys are running back where they are today.
Well, Austin Cindric, I'm really surprised because he's had some speed pretty much all weekend. Finished 4th, as Alan said at the end of that first stage. Didn't get off pit road with a good track position and really just hasn't gone anywhere. See Chase Briscoe, his teammate, right behind him now.
Yeah, and Briscoe's got to consider this an improvement after that big adjustment they made, because he's been able to keep touch with the top 10, and that certainly wasn't the case early in the race.
Getting down to the later laps here in stage 2.
See Briscoe trying to run very low on the racetrack, entered down on the lower traction compound groove, never up into the top. These guys will really start to look around as this race wears on. That traction compound will wear off somewhat. They'll be looking for fresh, stickier pavement.
Hey, how about this run Grant Enfinger's had today inside the top 5 for ThorSport?
What about the last time by, Vince? Fastest guy on the track.
Yeah, not really a surprise to see Grant Enfinger running up here as well as he is, running in the 4th spot here.
Looking to put back-to-back top 5s together after running 5th at Chicago last weekend. 10 to go here in stage 2, Alan.
Yeah, Grant Enfinger in the 98, they've been happy all day. It's just really been the story of track position for a lot of these trucks. Once Grant Enfinger got it, they've been running great. And lately, he told the team he was trying out a new line on the racetrack, asked how it was doing, and you see how the lap times are doing. It was doing great. They tell him, keep it up.
He just turns it hard, drives in the corner in the traction compound, and then gets to the center of the corner and just turns that truck hard left, tries to get a straight run up off the corner, and he's chasing down that 16.
Looking inside of Ryan Truex. Enfinger didn't make the playoffs this year either. He was a winner last year, won at Talladega.
That tells you how tough the truckers are. You know, we're talking about Christopher Bell and Matt Crafton 1 and 2. racing for a championship inside the playoff cut line. But you've got Truex and Enfinger, Stuart Friesen in 6. All these guys are just racing to win. They don't want to hear any talk about the playoffs. They want to get to
playoffs.
What
Playoffs?
Will Jim Mora just live forever?
I think so.
I was sitting there that day and thought, all right, we're going to hear that a lot. Of course, you knew it then. Enfinger continuing to move that 98, trying to catch the 16 of Truex as they run third and fourth. Truex third in that 16. Scott Zipadelli's done a tremendous job with that team this year. The crew chief, Shiggy Hattori, the owner, and Ryan has wheeled that thing as well. Heartbreaking last week at Chicagoland when he just missed the playoffs on a tiebreaker.
Had another good run there. It was his second top 5 in a row and came up 1 point short of transferring into the playoffs.
That's Matt Crafton just ahead of him, currently running second.
Bell's opened up a little, about a 2.5 second lead right now over Crafton. That's the largest lead we've seen this entire race.
There's Grant Enfinger. He's running in the 4th position behind Enfinger. In the top 5 runs Kaz Gralla. Pretty impressive 2-tire stop strategy for that team to get Gralla the track position. He's held on to it. Phil, that net sponsor on the side of the 33, that was Kaz's first sponsor back 10 years ago when he first, I was going to say 20.
Yeah, how old is he?
He's like 18.
Yeah.
So it was only 10 years ago, 7 or 8 years old. Nets got on board with Kaz, talked to the CEO down in the garage area this morning. So excited to be a part of the Truck Series racing here at Kaz's home track.
That's right along with Kaz here, that left side of your screen. That's him inside that Nets truck.
Austin Self down on the bottom of the 44.
You know, we talked that Kaz kicked off the season with that big victory in Daytona. He needed something good here to happen, big, in order to overcome the deficit that he's working with his points here in the playoffs. And he's delivering. He's coming through.
Well, he came in as the 8th seed, and I think he's already caught a couple of breaks, and that has nothing to do with the fact he's running 5th. One break he caught is that the 3rd seed John Hunter Nemechek had a mechanical issue, and he's 36 laps down. And then also the Brad Keselowski trucks of Cindric and Briscoe that are struggling today.
Remember, Gas did not finish in the top 10 at the end of stage run. Jerry Baxter said, okay, we have to do something about that. He put 2 tires on, Michael, like you mentioned, and he's kept that track position ever since, still running up in the top 5. 2 to go in this stage.
Now, pits are closed now, as they always are with 2 laps remaining in a stage. Christopher Bell continues to pick him up and lay him down.
Probably going to have to look at 4 tires on all these trucks during this stop, wouldn't you guess, Phil?
I would think so. A little bit longer stage coming up here.
Crafton was able to take advantage of that strategy as well, 2 tires, and hang on to a 2nd place position. But he's been able to keep pace with Bell. Does that mean with Crafton, if he can get a great stop from his crew on 4 tires, does he have something for Christopher Bell?
He certainly might. He's done a great job with those 2 tires, as you mentioned. And I think for Rudy Fugle, I think it's go with 4 again. That truck, let's don't change the balance in that truck. It's so good right now. The lap times he's putting up are amazing. Ran 30 flat the last 2 laps.
Off turn 4, Christopher Bell making his way to the green and white checkers, and he has won stage 2. Bell, the stage 1 and stage 2 winners. He and his team owner Kyle Busch, the only drivers to sweep both stages and then win the race. Can Bell complete the trifecta? Full contact racing today here in New Hampshire. Great racing here this afternoon, and then how about tonight? Full slate of college football, 6:30 Eastern on FS1 right here. It's number 3 Oklahoma taking on Baylor. And then tonight on Fox, Notre Dame and Michigan State, 8 Eastern. That'll be a great one. Late tonight, 10 o'clock. Number 7, Washington, the Huskies taking on the Buffaloes of Colorado on FS1. College football tonight on Fox and FS1, where every game is everything. Well, our stage 2 points. Christopher Bell, 1 10 points for winning stage 1 and another 10 for winning stage 2. So through the 2 stages today, here's how those points shake out. The rich getting richer with Christopher Bell, our #1 seed.
Yeah, Matt Crafton a pretty solid day, though, with 14 points.
See Truex, I think there's a lot of speed in that truck. He's gathered up 12 points. Not that important to him. He just wants that checkered flag, and I think he's marching to put himself in a position to do just that.
Pit road will be open this time, so we're going to see teams go to work. And the key, we heard from several of the crew chiefs, don't make any mistakes. See what kind of work these guys are going to do. Allen.
Ryan Truex is loving this track position. No adjustments for the 16 truck. Looks like it'll be 4 tires. No adjustments. The crew chief telling him save fuel as you leave pit road. Hermie?
The 88 truck is a little bit too tight. They took 2 right side tires last time. It'll be 4 tires this time. Air pressure adjustment for the 88 to 4. Christopher Bell needs to turn better. Center exit, 4 tires and fuel for 4.
Well, you see Ben Rhodes taking 2, Cindric taking 2. A couple of our playoff drivers gaining big positions. But if I'm Christopher Bell in that 4 truck, even though I lost 5 spots on that pit stop, I'm happy to get those 4 tires with the truck that I've had all day long. And how about Matt Crafton, Mike?
Yeah, let's check with Matt Crafton. Matt Crafton, it's Michael filling fence up in the booth. You copy?
Yes, sir. Loud clear.
Man, it's been an impressive run by you today. Junior Joyner implemented a little bit of strategy there at stage 1, got you up front, and you're able to hang there. Now that you're on 4, do you think you can go get them?
Oh, yeah. We're going to die trying, if nothing else. See if we can get us a win here in New Hampshire. It'd definitely be very cool.
Well, it's been impressive to watch, buddy. Hang in there. We'll talk to you later.
Yes, sir. Sounds good. Talk to you soon.
How about another one of our playoff drivers, Hermie, and the 21 of Johnny Sauter?
Yeah, we've been documenting the struggles of the 21. Lost the exhaust pipe on the right side, and so they came back in down pit road. A long, extended stay here. They got tires on it, but working some more on the right side. The truck also got loose, so they got to work on that as well. So the 21 not really sure what they're going to have down the stretch, but battling. But he did lose a lot of track position on the racetrack, and even more with that extended stay on pit road.
Well, the crews, it's a tough job. Get their guy off pit road first. Getting ready for the final stage here in our playoff opener at New Hampshire. Ben Rhodes and Austin Cindric on the front row. That's Rhodes on the outside. They're stacking up as we go back green.
Make sure nobody has any damage from that stack up. They're fanning out 3 wide.
Haley trying to get to the bottom.
Christopher Bell is buried as far back as he's been, Phil. Be interesting to see if Bell can work his way through this traffic. They're all over each other.
That's Bell, 4th in line there on the outside. That 4 truck, he has had the dominant piece so far today.
Remember that 16 truck of Truex right in front of him. He also got 4 tires, Vince. There he is.
You talked about Austin Cindric and the run he had in the first stage. Couldn't compare stage 2 to what he did in number 1, so they used some strategies right up front again. Oh, can Friesen stay off of Gilliland? Wow. Look at Truex, makes the move inside of Cindric.
Cindric tried to do the crossover.
Remember, Cindric took 2 tires on that stop. Ben Rhodes, who's out front, took 2 as well.
Be interesting to see if Ryan Truex can get to the lead before Bell. Can he hold off Christopher? We saw how fast that truck was in stage 2.
Bell trying the bottom now to challenge Truex. Truex holds him off.
Bell lost the front end for just a moment. Couldn't get back in the throttle. That opened up the bottom for a second for the 19 of Cindric.
Gilliland dives to the bottom of that 51 truck. He's been fun to watch today.
How cool was that? He just took that spot.
17-year-old Todd Gilliland, he is having a heck of a run. Cindric comes right back. Another teenager trying to get the spot.
Gilliland's a little bit reminiscent of Eric Jones. Remember, Eric Jones went to Victory Lane for Kyle Busch at the age of 17 before he was old enough to run some of the 1.5 miles in the big super speedways.
Stuart Friesen in the 52, taking a look inside of Cindric.
He's taking advantage of that new equipment that they gave him. The alliance with GMS Racing, the same truck that Johnny Sauter drives, and Kaz Grala, Justin Haley.
See if he's able to make that move on the 19 of Cindric. If he can get in front of him, he does get in front of him.
Great view from Kaz Grala there momentarily of what was going on in front of him, and Grala maybe has his sights set on Cindric now, feeling like maybe Cindric's truck is going away from him a little bit. A big wiggle there from the 19.
And we've watched this 33 truck of Grala really eat up that bottom. He's not shy about diving in hard in the corner, but that's what Cindric must have heard from his spotter. You need to get low to block Grala, and that's what Cindric did.
Grala taking a look. Goes to the bottom. Can he make it count?
Some tough sledding down there exiting turn 2. Truck wants to push up on the exit. You hold it off the guy you're racing, it gets loose in the back.
You know, it's a situation where the 19 only got 2 tires, but it's not like 2 tires hasn't worked. Ben Rhodes right now, our leader by over a second. Over Truex also did only 2 tires to get up some track position. There he is right there, Ben Rhodes leading this race with 50 to go.
50 to go, and you won't miss a thing. We're going to commercial. We'll come back. Can Ben Rhodes hold off and win at New Hampshire?
We've been dominating week in and week out.
Christopher Bell, and he closes the door with a dominating performance.
The best thing about my position is that I'm in one to win.
Everything seems to be coming together at the right time. We've got momentum now. Now we just have to keep it.
After winning it all last year, we know we have a target on our back.
Johnny Sauter with his first ever NASCAR championship.
Playing Marco Polo with Marco Polo? Surprising.
Ragazzini, io sono Marco Polo. Sì, sono qui.
What's not surprising? How much money Amanda and Keith saved by switching to Geico.
Ah, Polo. Polo.
15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
Polo.
The playoffs are for the best of the best.
Kyle Busch gets the win.
In the playoffs, I'm coming for y'all.
These playoffs are my first,
but they won't be my last.
In the playoffs, I'm the closer.
There's only one path to the championship, and we're all on it.
Under caution, and you saw it all while we were away here. New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Camping World Truck Series playoff opener, the 19 of Austin Cindric and the 33 of Kaz Grala. Not the first time those two have gotten together this season. Riding on board here with the 33 of Grala. What happens?
Kaz has been trying to get around him. Gotten the throttle just a little bit quicker than Austin. Remember, Austin only had 2 tires. Kaz was on 4 tires.
And Cindric was struggling, too. He was really loose on those 2 tires. And Kaz does a nice job of getting down on the apron and off the track to avoid Cindric. That's a tough move to make down there. Around goes Cindric. He'll probably come to pit road and get 4 tires, I would guess, Phil. And have the freshest tires on the track.
Yeah, I would think so too, and maybe anybody else out there that's struggling right now.
Like his teammate Chase Briscoe, fighting for those playoff points.
Well, here come trucks to pit lane, led by the 13 of Cody Coughlin, and those two Keselowski trucks coming as well. The 19 is there, Alan.
Yeah, he wants 4 tires and a track bar adjustment before the spin. They were going backwards, and he said they just aren't firing off the corner like they were earlier in the race. Now he's got more problems than that. They hope the adjustment can fix that, plus some fresh tires. Maybe he's in a good position.
The 18 of Noah Gragson gets the free pass with this caution.
That'll put him back on the lead lap, Vince. They've made some repairs to that 18 truck. See if he can fight up for a top 10 finish.
Well, 19 is in the playoffs, Austin Cindric, because of this situation at Canada a few weeks ago. Gregson, Kaz Grala was leading that race in the 33 truck on the final lap, and Austin Cindric dumped him and went on to win.
Are you insinuating that possibly there was payback there?
No, coincidental.
Coincidental contact.
Yeah.
What do you think? Was it a payback?
Well, I do not think it was a payback because we documented that the 19 was struggling, and I think probably in the back of Kaz's mind, he's not going to try as hard maybe to stay off that rear tailgate of that truck as he would someone else. But I don't think it's a situation where he went down there and said, "I'm trying to pass you. I'm going to knock you out of the way."
Yeah, he had been trying to pass. They've been side by side a couple of times, so he was giving it all he had to get around him. But I don't think he had much sympathy for the fact that Cindric was slipping and sliding, and the contact happened.
You're saying Kaz probably had less patience for Austin Cindric than any other driver out there.
That's a certain.
I think that's safe. I think that's safe to say, probably.
But look what he's put himself in a position to do, Vince. Restarting on the outside in the 6th position. This could be a big run for Kaz. Get up in the top 5, finish there, grab those points, and try to maintain when we head west to Vegas.
Yeah, 45 laps to go.
How about the guys up on the front row? The guys that battled so close for the final playoff spot. The 16 of Ryan Truex lost it on a tiebreaker. The 27 of Ben Rhodes got it. One's in the playoffs, one's not in the playoffs, but both of them looking for their first win.
Do you think Ryan Truex is ever thinking, why won't you go away? Everywhere he looks, it's Ben Rhodes that is keeping him from what he's looking for.
Well, and both of them are going to have a mirror full of that Ford truck of Christopher Bell before too long would be my guess. And the 51 of Todd Gilliland has been very sporty today as well. A couple of KBM machines there on row 2.
Yeah, Gilliland in a good spot up there in the outside row.
It'll be interesting to see what Bell does down in turn 1. We know he's got a fast truck. Can he use that bottom groove to get around our leaders?
Back green at New Hampshire. Truex and Rhodes for the lead, side by side. Bell makes a move inside.
Or if he can make this pass stick, Truex has the lead.
Wow, that's a slide job for sure. He dove hard into the turn and took the lead away from Rhodes.
And now Bell trying to get second away from Rhodes, and does.
Big move right there by the 4 of Christopher Bell. About right behind that yellow truck of Gilliland. These guys battling for the 5th spot. Friesen in the 52, Kaz in the 33, and there's Infinger again in the 98.
Boy, it has been a strong run for Infinger today. Very impressed with that 98 machine.
Remember we talked about the bright yellow truck of Matt Crafton, talked to him on the radio, got those 4 tires. Is he ready to go win this race? He said yes, but right now he's mired back in the 8th position. Can you get from 8th to the front on this tight mile track, Phil?
No, you can't. I don't think you can, especially as good as these trucks are running in front of him right now.
Well, got certainly 42 laps to do it.
Made more difficult by the fact they're too wide, 2 rows in front of him.
Remember, Matt started in the 10th spot, got to 6th spot in that first stage, and the stage was 55 laps long.
Friesen to the bottom.
Ooh, Ben Rhodes way wide, losing spots.
Rhodes got out of shape from that 3rd position. Had to gather it up, but he's losing spots.
Matt Crafton going by him now. You see Ben Rhodes trying to shake that truck, trying to get the debris and the rubber off that he got when he went way wide over there in 3 and 4.
Yeah, went from 3rd to 8th. Did Ben Rhodes.
Battle for the 3rd spot right there. How about here? How about a battle for the lead?
Christopher Bell heating up that 16 of Ryan Truex.
And you watch the way Truex is racing, Bell. He knows he's trying to get that run on the bottom. Truex is not running high up the track. He's closing that door on Bell. Anytime Bell gets a nose in there, Truex drives right across it.
Bell, the #1 seed. He's won 4 times this season. Truex missed the playoffs on a tiebreaker. Still looking for his first career win.
Watch Truex flying off the corner. Drives it low. Prevents Bell from getting a nose in there.
We've talked to Truex all year long. We know how much he wants a win in the Truck Series for this team. Shigeru Hattori has spent so much money putting this first-class effort together. Scott Zipadelli's over there. Mike Ricci, the general manager. They've been good all year long.
They've been knocking on the door, top 5 in 4 of the last 5 races.
You can see down low on the exit. I think this is smart by Truex. He's got to figure out how to drive defensively. Make sure he puts that truck in front of Bell no matter where they go, because Bell has so much speed.
He's not going to be able to drive across his nose this time, is he, Michael?
Ooh, wow.
Ooh, he just cleared him.
The price chopper chopped off the second place runner. There's our battle for the 4th position. And look at Infinger make the move around Friesen. There's Kaz Grala right behind these two.
What a move by Friesen, using all 4 tires down on the apron.
How about this? Points as they run right now as we look at our playoffs leaderboard. And right now, it would be Chase Briscoe and John Hunter Nemechek out. But remember, this is just the first of 3 races in round 1. The top 6 advance to the second round.
Crafton was able to take advantage of that long slide by Rhodes. He got up to the 7th position, and now he's looking to the inside of Grala, trying to fight his way back to the front.
I think it's going to be hard for him to get by these trucks, much less anybody in front of them. Remember, Kaz right now has the 6th spot. That's Crafton trying to grab it.
Grala's been solid today. Crafton continues to work on him, Hermie.
Vince, if we have any more restarts in this race, being on the bottom is not the place you want to be. That is why Matt Crafton and Junior Joyner were protesting the lineup prior to this restart so hard, because they moved in from the 8th position to the 9th position down to the inside. They were adamant they were supposed to be in front of the 98 of Grant Infinger prior to this restart. So if that happens again, if we have another caution and another restart, it could really come down to who's in what line as to who can get that track position off turn 2 and improve and gain that 1 point that everybody's looking for.
Straight up coaching from the spotter Riccarelli to Ryan Truex, lap after lap, corner after corner, just telling him how to drive defensively and keep the air away from Christopher Bell to get that good drive off the straightaway. It's worked so far. Ryan Truex leading this race with only 34 laps to go.
Strong run by Crafton on the inside of Kaz Grala off turn 2. Crafton knows he's got to charge. He's got to be aggressive if he's going to get there. Moves up in front of Grala.
Grala comes right back.
And Crafton's going to be in the right spot here, though, when he gets down to the other end of the racetrack on the high side. A little bit more grip up there still, I think.
And there he is. He rounds that corner off, charges down the back, puts Grala in his rearview mirror.
Here comes Ben Rhodes, the 27, trying to get underneath Kaz Grala. He's going to get underneath him and drive it hard down in the corner.
Wow. Rhodes took away, or excuse me, Crafton passing Grala took his momentum away. Rhodes was there to pounce and take advantage of that.
Grala trying to come back. Rhodes has that preferred line there on the outside. Can he make it work as they head down into turn 1? Getting down to the late stages of this one. Less than 35 to go. You won't miss a thing from New Hampshire.
Big game today in Washington. Unfortunately, there may be a problem with Josh Norman. He's dealing with a blunt trauma injury to his baby toe.
Blunt trauma? What?
Yeah, and they're going to...
You guys don't even know what you're talking about.
We're good to go by game time. And I tell you what, Washington is going to need him to come up big today.
They said it, and it happened.
And tough break for that Washington trainer who has been removed from his duties with the team. We got plenty more ahead here on Fox NFL Kickoff.
For those who know what they're really building, always unstoppable.
All the wins in Cleveland, all the Astros Magic, punch-outs in Boston, and long balls in New York don't mean anything now, because the only thing that matters is October.
You've been watching it. Ryan Truex trying to hold off Christopher Bell. Bell continues to charge on the inside, and Truex is always just seeming to get just ahead a little bit, just enough on that outside to keep that advantage.
And he's been mistake-free. That's important. If he makes one mistake, then Christopher Bell will pounce on it.
We talked earlier after the restart. Who gets to the lead first? Would it be Truex? Would it be Bell? It was Truex, and so far, he's driving a perfect race.
And we got to give a call to his pit crew, too, because his pit crew actually beat out Christopher Bell, both taking 4 tires.
Would it be justice for Ryan Truex after missing out on the playoffs by the slimmest of margins on a tiebreaker to come back in the first race of the postseason and take it to victory lane for his first career win?
What about Todd Gilliland, lurking back there in 3rd position in that 51 truck? He was a little bit faster than our leaders the last time by. He had damage to that left front fender, Vince. A lot of smoke. Was able to overcome that. And the pedigree truck is rolling. That lap traffic could too play into some of what we'll see here. The spotters will be responsible for helping their drivers through that.
Here's a 33 and 19 again. Remember, they had contact just a little while ago with a 33 spinning the 19. Liberty Mutual spotter coverage.
Better than him, and you owe 1. Screw these guys. Let's go. Sorry. Caution is out. Focus now. Refocus.
So that was spotter Eddie DeHaan talking with Kaz Gralla before Gralla spun or made contact with Cindric that ended up spinning Cindric around and bringing out that yellow.
I think before, during, and after he was talking to
yes.
And then there's Cindric just ahead of Gralla. And Cindric's trying to deal with the 27 truck of Ben Rhodes. That's slowing up his progress, and Gralla's closing back in.
Remember, about 15 laps your tires on Austin Cindric's truck after that spin. Time is running out now. We're inside 25 laps to go here.
What about Johnny Sauter in that damaged 21 truck racing inside the top 10 against Gralla? That's a great job by Joe Shear and that team, putting that truck back together so that he could be competitive.
And if you're guys like, say, Crafton, Rhodes, Cindric, Gralla, Sauter, 6 through 10, you might not have the truck that's going to be able to get up there and win this race, but you're thinking big picture now in the playoffs and just getting the absolute best finish you can, and beating one of these other playoff challengers by 1 position may be the difference between advancing to round 2 or not.
Without a doubt, we saw that going into the playoffs at one point matters.
And just think about that, guys. We got a couple of trucks. John Hunter with some serious issues on that 8 vehicle, but then Chase Briscoe hasn't performed well that well today. They're both below the cut line, so these guys that are running 6th through 10th, like you said, Vince, they can't afford a mistake. They got to take advantage of the issues the other drivers are having.
Let's check in on the playoff contenders. Hermie?
So far, Vince, for the 4, Christopher Bell, it's been max points so far. He's accumulated 20 points in the first 2 stages by winning both of them. Now, to make it a perfect day, he'll need to pass that 16 to go to victory lane. The problem is, the longer he runs, the truck will not turn from the center exit. So we'll have to see if he can get that done. Right now, heating up the back of the 16, but cannot seem to get around. The next truck in line, the 88 of Matt Crafton, as far as our playoff contenders, they got some track position by getting 2 tires earlier today. They have 14 stage points they've accumulated. They are just too tight in traffic to try to make their way to the front, but they've overcome some obstacles to get back where they are. So we'll see if the 88, maybe with another caution, can grab a few more spots as we head further towards the finish of this race.
There's Truex again, running really low on exit, protecting that lead. I think he's doing a great job. He's putting his truck right where it needs to be. The only thing, Phil, is as these laps wind down, he keeps cutting low like that. Possibly there's some contact between these two trucks.
Camping World 20 to go. Can Ryan Truex hold off Christopher Bell and Truex get his first career win? Or will it be Bell, the #1 seed, be able to get by Truex and maybe stamp his way in that first step toward a championship by guaranteeing himself a spot in round 2?
Bell was completely up beside him that one lap ago. And let's don't forget Todd Gilliland, that 17-year-old right now having the race of his young truck series life, running third right now. If these guys get together, it would be out of question maybe for Todd Gilliland to go by both of them.
Well, and think about the way Gilliland's made passes, Phil, driving hard into the corner, down on the bottom of the racetrack and sliding up. He's sizing up those guys ahead of him. If he can make progress and get there, I wouldn't be surprised to see him make a bold move.
Just Gilliland's 4th start. The first 2 starts he had good runs going, but ended up having mechanical issues derail his day, and then finished 11th at Canada. But it's not been a surprise to see him run strong, but he just hasn't been able to get the finish that he's deserved. Looks like he might get it today.
He's done an outstanding job here. Remember, with some experience on this racetrack, he won here in the K&N Series earlier this year.
Bell continuing to follow closely as Truex leads.
As the laps wind down, the sense of urgency ramps up for Christopher Bell.
And Phil, your and I's experience tell us that, and I'm getting nervous because I just don't think that Christopher Bell will let Ryan Truex continue to squeeze him down like that. I think he's going to hold his ground one of these laps, and there's going to be contact.
There he goes, Bell. No. Wow. Just by the slimmest of margins.
I was holding my breath there till they got off the quarter.
I've been holding my breath the last 5 laps. I'm just sure that on this tight little mile track where contact is something we're used to seeing, there's going to be some.
We know how important the win is to Christopher Bell, but remember, he doesn't want to take a chance and give up a bunch of points. Look how hard he's going to drive it down in there.
Oh, wow. He's not going to let up this time. Bell gets the spot. Truex is not able to fight back. Tries to, but Bell closes the door. Uses the lap truck in front of him of Chavis.
Oh, a little bit loose there.
Right now, Christopher Bell said, I need a little bit of a cushion. I need to get me a few truck lengths over this Truex truck.
Wow.
Give me a good corner.
Man, I tell you what, Bell drove that thing in there deep.
That's what Rudy's telling him. Christopher, give me 2 or 3 good corners. Let's get us a little cushion.
15 laps to go. How about that for Hermie?
Very interesting. Christopher Bell on the radio. They were giving him lap times, lap after lap, as he was chasing the 16. About 5 laps ago, he radioed in and said, be quiet on the radio. I do not want lap times. I just want to focus to make this pass. And that's exactly what he did.
He knew what he needed. He knew what he wanted. He went after it and he got it.
You think Ryan Truex can watch the line? Maybe Bell's running, do anything different, or is that Ford truck just simply too stout for the competition today?
Bell, the only one of our playoff drivers in the top 5. Truex, Gilliland, Infinger, and Friesen filling out those other spots before Matt Crafton sits in the 6th position.
Yeah, and starting in the 6th position, Vince, all the way back to 11th where Chase Briscoe rides, that's playoff racers. 1 position change there can make a difference between making it to round 2 and not.
I talked earlier how Chase Briscoe would continue to learn, had never been here before. The last 2 laps he ran were his fastest laps of the race. He ran a 30-30 and a 30-25, the fastest 2 laps he's run this race.
Well, and of all the playoff drivers, the one that has had the disastrous day has been John Hunter Nemechek. He had a mechanical issue, had to go to the garage. He's now 37 laps down. His position not going to improve, but he is back out there.
He just gained a spot. Emmerling had retired, and finally Nemechek gets around, runs enough laps to pass Emmerling. He's up to the 22nd position.
And that's exactly why he's out there, right, Mike? Just, I mean, even though you're not going to get up and challenge for the win by any stretch, but continuing to get out and run the laps and try to get every position you can get.
Just like Johnny Sauter right there, trying to get another spot, another point, getting by his teammate, Cas Gralla, to move Johnny up to the 9th spot.
10 laps remaining. Hey, guys, currently airing on FS2 and also Fox Business Network. UCF, Central Florida, and Maryland. Well, check that out. If you're tuned in to FS1 looking for that game, you can see it on FS2 or the Fox Business Network, Central Florida and Maryland. And it'll be here on FS1 as soon as our race telecast is complete.
Just 9 laps to go. Christopher Bell now opens up about a 3/4 second lead over Truex.
Cas drops to the 10th position with that nice pass by Johnny Sauter.
It's amazing the damage on that 21 truck, and he is still having a great day inside the top 10.
I think that's when the crew wants to hug the driver for fighting through those issues, and the driver is really proud of the crew for putting himself in a position to go out there and grab a top 10 finish and keep your championship hopes alive. Great team effort.
Look at that damage on that 21. Some contact earlier in the race with the 18 of Noah Gragson. Gragson spun, and just as Sauter was going by, the left front of Gragson got into that right side of Sauter.
As remember, we talked at the top of the show where the position that Christopher Bell was in with a nice cushion with those points that he accumulated throughout the regular season. If he holds on to this thing, goes to victory lane, that's only going to leave us 5 open playoff spots here before the next round.
7 laps remaining. If Bell wins this race, a victory automatically gets you to the next round, even though we still have 2 more races in round 1 to go. We'll be in Las Vegas next weekend and then finish round 1 at Talladega.
See, there's Rudy Fugle, left side of your screen, trying to go back-to-back here. He won here last year with William Byron, this exact same race truck.
And in about the exact same method, just put a whooping on the rest of the field.
Final 6 laps.
Phil, you said earlier that Christopher Bell was mad about not winning the pole. You think he's over that now?
Well, he will be in about 6 laps, I think.
Look at that line he's able to take.
Though, got to finish it. Yeah. I've seen stranger things happen, that's for sure.
5 to go.
He can drive all over this racetrack.
Right now, he just doesn't want to see a caution flag and have to go through a late race restart.
Remember, Central Florida and Maryland coming up on FS1 as soon as our race telecast is complete, but you can find that football game on FS2 or Fox Business Network if you need it right now. 5 laps remaining. Ryan Truex running second. Truex led for 28 laps, but finally Bell got past him, and now Truex chasing Bell in the final laps. 4 to go.
It's got to be really frustrating for Truex just to put up such a great battle. Slipped a little bit off turn 2. Bell was right there and pounced, took that position away. You got to also give it up for Bell for being so patient, racing inside and around Truex for so long.
And they never touched.
Never touched, just biding his time, waiting for his opportunity to jump. And when it presented itself, he was ready.
I think what's amazing, too, is with 3 laps to go, that 4 of our top 5, with the exception of Christopher Bell, not in the playoffs. We've got Truex in second, Todd Gilliland in third, Infinger in fourth, and Stuart Friesen with a great run in fifth.
Yeah, how do you grab some headlines when you're not in the playoffs? Go run like these boys are.
Bell coming through turn 4. 2 to go. Truex stays diligent behind him.
And Bell wants to see that white flag. That's the next flag he wants to see. Then he knows that this race will be official. Without the opportunity of going to a green-white checker.
Christopher Bell swept stage 1 and 2 and then won the race at Atlanta.
Flag, come back no matter what here.
He's trying to do it again today, the clean sweep.
This is a battle for the 10th position. Briscoe has really gained on Gralla in the last few laps. Caught him in a little bit of contact
You wouldn't believe how fast this 29 truck has been the last 10, 15 laps.
This is a playoff point they're battling off over. They need that position.
Christopher Bell going to close the door on Ryan Truex. Bell on his way to a 7th career win. Christopher Bell opens the postseason with a victory at New Hampshire. Briscoe still trying to finish the job with Kaz Grala as they battle for position coming to the line. Grala's going to hold the spot. That was for 10th. Christopher Bell, his 5th win of the season. Number 1 seed in the playoffs for a reason. Christopher Bell dominated the regular season, and he opens the playoffs in similar fashion. Bell, the winner at New Hampshire. Led the most laps today, 73 laps. But boy, he had to earn it. Ryan Truex with a phenomenal run today. Bell had to make a late pass to gain the lead and go on to win. But no shame in that 16 camp, that's for sure. Ryan Truex downstairs.
Yeah, none at all, Vince. He told the team he had nothing more to give out of that truck. Second place can be good sometimes. Is this one tough, though?
It is. I mean, just that we've come so far with this group. I'm so proud of them. I'm glad a Toyota could win. Chris has been the best truck all year. So when you got the best truck in the field behind you, you know, it makes it tougher. So I did everything I could to hold him off. I was trying to take his lane and block and everything. We just didn't quite have the grip he had. I want to thank him for racing me clean, though. It was a fun race, and we wouldn't have been here without Scott Zipadelli making the calls. I didn't know how this race was going to shake out, and every restart I just gave it my all. A lot of 3-wide stuff, probably pissed a few people off, but we're trying to win races, and we're getting close. So thanks to Price Chopper, Bar Harbor, Sea-Watch, Ison Group, Shiggy Hattori for letting us do this, Toyota, Gibbs Engines, everybody. We'll get ours soon.
Gracious in defeat for Ryan Truex.
Well, and a terrific run from Truex today. There's the 19 of Austin Cindric, the 33 of Kaz Grala. They got together. Remember, Cindric dumped Grala to win at Canada. Grala spun out Cindric in this race today, intentional or not. Nobody really knows. Maybe that was the discussion they were having, but I like the fist bump at the end. They agreed to disagree, and off they went.
Does that mean call it even?
I think so.
Here's our playoff leaderboard. Christopher Bell secures the spot in round 2 with that win today. And Hermie Sadler is in victory lane with the winner.
Here he is, Christopher Bell. Playoff win at Loudon, New Hampshire. Got it done in all 3 stages today at this racetrack. Man, I guess the way to come to start the playoffs and make a statement is to win stage 1, stage 2, and come to victory lane. Congratulations on a solid effort by you and your race team.
It's a dream come true to drive for Kyle Busch Motorsports, man. These guys do such an excellent job preparing this Series XM Tundra. Just can't thank all of our partners at JBL, TRD, Toyota, everyone at Kyle Busch Motorsports. Thank you guys for building such fast trucks. It's an honor to drive them.
It came down to a battle between you and Ryan Truex. Looked like he was taking your line away. You fought to get by him several times. What enabled you in the end to make that pass?
Well, he was doing a really good job watching his mirror, and I knew it was tough to pass all day, but our truck had been so good we hadn't been able to do it until we got to him. I kept trying to work down, and he kept blocking my air down and down and down, and finally I got one run where I could go up in 1 and 2, and then got a big run into 3.
That's Christopher Bell. He wins at Loudon.
Bell's 5th win of the season. 7th of his young career, and the Kyle Busch Motorsports machines were bad fast today, as they have been throughout the course of the season. Todd Gilliland ended up finishing 3rd, and Noah Gregson was strong early, led 40 laps before some damage. Well, next week, it's race number 2 of our playoffs, race 2 of the first round, and it's another opportunity to get it done at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. And we've got plenty of racing left this weekend. The Xfinity Series is at Kentucky. You'll see that on NBCSN. And then race day tomorrow, 11:30 a.m. here on FS1 and the Monster Energy Cup Series racing tomorrow afternoon as well. Christopher Bell, the winner today at New Hampshire. For Alan Cavana, Hermie Sadler, Michael Waltrip, Phil Parsons, I'm Vince Welch. Congratulations to Christopher Bell. College football next, Central Florida and Maryland.